All right, let's try this. I guess this will work. Welcome to the stream. Apparently everything broke today. No, I'm trying a different software setup, and it is, apparently it doesn't work. So, thank you for telling me quickly that I was muted, because I wouldn't have noticed. First world problems? Yeah, too many audio interfaces, too many software options. I think I've done like 16 videos in the past month, something like that. Oh yeah, and the channel passed 10 million views this month, or mid-October, I guess it was. So that's cool. Quick little thing, I don't think we need to do the stinger thing, but I got this little device, the Movo FXLR Pro, and this is a phantom power to plug-in power connector, and it also will adapt 1/8" TRS to XLR. So I got this so that I could get that the stupid like Logitech mic to work with XLR, and it also works with little lavalier mics that came with my wireless set. So I've got 2 of these. I'm thinking of getting a second. I'm almost certain I'm going to order a second one of these, and then I can have a binaural rig for the Zoom F3. And that's a pretty cheap, compact system. I mean, hook up the Logitech. It works. It takes a lot of gain. Yeah, I'll just plug it in here, I guess. Check, check, check. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the stream. We are, playing around with this microphone, and I can't hear it, but I assume that it sounds wonderful. Is it noisy? White noise? I'll turn down the gain a bit. I should be monitoring it, but I'm not. I'm sure that's just the mic more than the adapter. So that adapter's only $15, $20 Canadian. So with a pair of those and some cheap Omni lav mics, maybe clipped to my hat, I could get a half decent binaural rig, I think, for the Zoom F3. So yeah, there's a link in the description if you are interested in doing something like that. You have old silly mics with 1/8" TRS, or if you have lav mics with TRS and you want to connect it to a mixer or computer through an interface, that works. Converts the 48 or 12 to 48 volt phantom power down to the 3 volt plug-in power. Oh yeah, we'll test that right now. The lav mic cable's not very long. I've got an extension somewhere, but yeah, just as a quick test. Since the audio is kind of scuffed anyways, here's the lav mic, and I'll mute the music so you can hear what the lav mic sounds like. There's still a bit of noise. But yeah, I could take this and then clip it on my hat and then walk around, and maybe it's interesting to hear the big difference in gain between the 2 types of microphones. Yeah, you're probably hearing a lot, you're hearing the amount of gain that's normally applied to the SM7 applied to a condenser mic that doesn't need that much, so it's picking up a lot of room tone as well. 2 Omni for binaural, yeah, my head would be in between them. That should work. There's lots of earbud headphones. They look like earbud headphones, but they're actually microphones you can buy, like these ones. I'm not sure how these actually connect to a recorder. It's got like a USB-C connection. There's a XLR version. I would need like a dual XLR or dual TRS. Yeah, so they're like mics that sit inside your ears. It's $100. It's worth experimenting with, but I don't know. For those that didn't see the entire stream last week, or didn't see the end of the last stream recap, I mentioned this plugin called Chance Machine, which is free There's a Mac VST and audio unit, and there's also a VST for Windows. You can find somewhere, sort of adapted by another person. But anyways, this is like a probability generator for MIDI. You send some MIDI in, and then based on the step position and some trigger conditions, you can basically decide if that MIDI is going to pass through to the next device or not. This works with MIDI notes or CCs. So I mentioned it in like the last 2 minutes because I just forgot about it last week. But we will play with this today. I have it installed. I tested it yesterday. And it's interesting. We're going to talk about that. And also, SoundToys Little Plate is free right now. Little Plate is one of my go-to favorite plugins. It's just an excellent, easy-to-use reverb. Sounds great. It's pretty much any settings. Easy to understand. Yeah, just a great reverb, whether it's free or not. When it was first launched, it was free. They've now released Super Plate, and I think there was like a 4-year gap or something between the plugins. It's worth getting. If you don't have this already, get it. It also gives you discounts for the full SoundToys bundle. So this is only like one per customer, and if you already have a SoundToys license or Little Plate license, you can't get this. Whatever music we make today, that's going to be on there, so as a little demo of what that's like. There's also, from Arturia Analog Lab Play, Analog, I think I said that really weird. Analog Lab Play is a new sort of bundle. It's 100 presets for Analog Lab, and I don't know if it has its own interface or if it's like a demo of the full Analog Lab, but these are all new sounds, and you can upgrade to the full Analog Lab, or you can buy any of the full synths to get access to actually tweaking the patches. So if you have any keyboard that has like 8 knobs on the top, this is great because all the parameters map to it. It's very quick and intuitive to use. It's great with the Arturia hardware controllers because everything's just kind of mapped automatically, but it's not too hard to map things in Reaper or otherwise. I guess that's it. That's all my notes. So I guess we'll make some music, and unless you guys have some questions, I'm just going through the chat now. You have the Movo Lab mic, and as far as I know, watching back my stuff, it isn't that bad. Well, I couldn't hear it. It's probably just a gain issue. A friend made these for $10. You just buy the capsules from the manufacturer and glue them into some old earbuds. Well, for like $20, I'll buy some off of him. Feel free to email me if someone wants to make them, and I'll buy them. As long as I can plug it into a Zoom F3, I'm interested. Speaking of the Zoom F3, this was on my mind last night. I was testing this out, trying to figure out how to use it. Still not like actually recording with it, going out and stuff, but just trying to learn the different functions. So whenever I get a new piece of gear, I'll just make a list of all the questions I have, and I'll try to go through step by step and answer those questions. So can I insert markers while recording in this? And yes, you can, but you need the Bluetooth connection, so it's an additional purchase, plus the smartphone app to drop in a marker. On the Zoom H5, I think you tap the record button again, it'll drop a marker. That's a different thing for me. I wasn't expecting that. And then I was also curious about monitor levels, because this is a 32-bit interface or a recorder, and so like gain settings they're not really the same as normal analog gain. And then how does monitoring levels work with that? I discovered that there's like a test tone thing in this for setting the line output level, but that also sends a full scale output to your headphones. So that wasn't any fun. That was pretty annoying. So that happened to me last night. I think I'm going to import maybe a -20 pink noise file into this, so then I can calibrate my monitoring when I'm out to that. because like, I don't know, it's really easy to like set the gain on the mics to quiet, and then you crank up your headphones. And then when you start recording and there's this sound marker function, which marks, it sends out a signal on all the outputs at full scale, or no, it's -6. It's a -6 1K tone, and that's so loud in the headphones. So yeah, I don't know, lots of little minor details that can save your hearing. So that's what's on my mind right now. You haven't updated to Reaper 7 yet? You should. I've got like 2 hours of videos already out about that. Pete, how was my week? I've been tired. I feel good because I got a lot of stuff done and videos made, and lots of people are seeing the videos and commenting, and it's going really well. But it's just a lot. I was planning on taking a break that week. Whatever week Reaper 7 came out, I was planning on taking that week off. And then instead, I worked 4 times harder. REAPERBLOG or anyone else in the chat, is there any instructional video of how to tweak or make Reaper themes? For Reaper 6, I made a video about how I learned to edit my Reaper theme. I will link you to that. It's called Customizing the Reaper 6 Theme. Yeah, it's basically how I customize Reaper 6 theme. This is only like half the story. There was a whole other page of notes that I didn't get to, but I wrote down pretty much everything. Yeah, this stuff is possibly wrong. So with the images in a theme, there's 3 folders. There's the default folder where for 100%, there's 150 and 200% images. If you're editing something, start with the 200% and then make smaller versions of those. But the 150% image files might not scale correctly. So there's certain things like there's these pink and yellow lines on some of the theme elements that determine scaling. They have to be in a certain position and they have to be a certain number of pixels. And if you are just like batch rescaling all the 200% images down to 150, those parts are going to get messed up. And so that takes a hell of a lot of time to get perfect. And that's one of the reasons I never shared my theme. How to add a border to the toolbar buttons, things like that. Yeah, you can see here, like, I never finished everything. It was completely half-assed. There's another video, the Reaper Tips Low Effort channel. He's got like a 2-hour video or something about themes. 1 hour. No, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Two separate videos. Check that out. Yeah, Marshall, just stick with the Reaper 6 theme if you prefer it more. All the previous themes still work, so just use whatever one you want. Okay, any other questions? I can't seem to switch off the always trim content behind Razor edits. My Razor edits are still trimming the media that's behind with any of the options toggled on or off. I don't know. I never work with that turned off, so I don't really know what that would do. We do have this option here. If you right click on the crossfade button, always trim content behind Razor edits. I also always have this always trim content behind Razor edits, trim content behind media items when editing. I always have these on. I can't think of a situation where I wouldn't want those on. Like I hate when items are stacked on top of each other, and you can hear both. I never want that. If you think it's a bug, it's very possible that there is a bug found. Report it on the forum. If you think you've tried everything and you can still demonstrate that Razor edits are trimming behind items, especially if you can compare it to an older version of Reaper where that's not the case, then yeah, that'd be good. Could you show how to save and export all custom settings so you can save time after a format? Yeah, this came up in the last live stream, I think, but I can definitely show you that again. So in Reaper general page, got this export button. You can just select all and create a zip file from there. What I usually do is just go to Options, Show a Reaper Resource Path in Explorer/Finder, select all, compress it, and then you can put that somewhere else. What I actually do is back up everything automatically. I have a script that runs to copy everything into my Dropbox folder. So right here, Reaper Mac, this is my today at 7 a.m. Reaper backup. So that's my offsite backup that works. I also use Backblaze, which is great for seamlessly backing things up painlessly. Can't see the decibel scales on the mixer, can't be activated on Reaper preferences. Imagine it'll get addressed in the new update. I'm not sure why they did it exactly. The theme was being tweaked up until release day and is still being tweaked. In the track control panels, the meter markings aren't visible in default unless you're on layout C. Layout C has a larger meter and shows the markings, but then in the mixer view, the A, B, and C layouts are very different and none of them have the meter markings. Using the beta theme adjuster, you can enable in mixer panels meter values. There it is. And that just puts the scale image. But yeah, this is not an endorsement of this script. It's not ready. Don't use it. There, covered my ass. My custom Reaper 7 theme basically looks the same. The script is where V7 missed big time. Yeah, I've been saying that a few times. That should have been done before the release of version 7. They should have probably just used the theme assembler theme. I think people liked that one a lot more than what ended up being the default. But as I've said many times, you can use any theme you want. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of great new features in Reaper 7. There's still some bugs to be found, but they have worked on it for a long time, and there's hundreds of people that have tested it, and thousands of people currently using it. So it's a very good update. Is White Tie ready to go? The White Tie theme, or White Tie the person? How can we automate multiple tracks as a group? Everything except plugins can be grouped that way. So select the tracks, put them into a grouping. Where is it? Automation mode, set to lead and follow. And as long as you don't have a global automation mode set, which is here, you can see where here it says read and there's the red stripes on it. So if I select one, I can set it to latch, and then I'll just grab a fader and you can see, I thought they would group. Oh, that's just a mode switch. I only enabled a mode switch. You still need to like link certain things. So volume. So now all three are moving the same. And I think if I had not set those to volume lead, but I had the tracks selected, I think that would have, yeah, that'll also do it. A parameter that's not already visible, let's say like the panning, I can grab that and then they'll all pop up, they'll all move together, as long as you're in a automation mode. So 2 steps. First is setting automation mode lead, and then you can set it for any additional things, volume, pan, width, mute, solo, or have them selected and then touch that parameter, and they should all follow. Yeah, due to all actually, like just having them selected doesn't even require a grouping. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's play around with the Chance Machine plugin. We'll also do some Analog Lab for the sounds, I guess. I don't think I can show just what's what the free ones are. I have no idea what the free ones are. Should we do an overview of Analog Lab? Sure. Using the Explore page or the preset browsing, or yeah, if you click on Explore and search by different types, different specific instruments, you can pretty quickly narrow down the like thousands of presets into something that you like. And actually from this list, if we're on this list, we can just clicking on it loads. You don't have to like double click and wait for it to load. It loads very quickly. And if you find anything that's remotely good, just hit the heart button. Those are my only tips for the browser. Because there's so many. The main thing you want to do is sort anything that's remotely good, because there's just too many to really actually go through. And like this is 355 of just bass. Okay, so then we've got this interface with the different knobs here, and they control various parameters of the instrument, and they're generally pretty easy to understand. So time might control attack time, it might control delays and things like that. There's a couple send levels here. The other thing here I wanted to show was, where's the mixer view? Okay, edit preset. And then in here, you can choose different effects. Chorus, phaser. So we can change the phaser to an amp. Different filter. But mainly you are working with the presets. And some of the presets actually have two parts. I can't find one at the moment, but there's lots here that will use two separate instruments at the same time. And it looks something like this. And if you have the full plugin, you can click on open and you get the entire interface. You can tweak every parameter. But without, you just get these 8 controls. Okay. Anyways, I have done videos on Analog Lab before. I guess it was a keyboard review. I don't remember. Okay, so what we're looking for here is something that we can mess around with Chance Machine on. So sort of a punchy, stabby bass sound. And I'm just going to do like a 1-bar pattern. Okay, and maybe just jump that one an octave. And then... No, maybe we'll go down. Yeah, okay, and I'll just loop that. And we'll put Chance Machine on this on this track, and we'll put it before Analog Lab. And so with the default settings, every note is going to play. No change there. But we can set this up in a way that only some of the notes play. So just dragging down here adds some probability. So we'll set this to below 50% on these two, and here's how it sounds. So there's just a chance of it playing. Then we can further manipulate this so that the step lengths are longer. So each of these steps could be a bar long or down to 16ths. And the resets could be the entire pattern, or it could be like an odd number. So like after 5 steps, it repeats. The link to Chance Machine is in the description of the stream. And there's a Windows version on a separate page. In the instructions for this, they're explaining a lot with using it with Machine and using a MIDI loopback. I'm just using it as a plugin directly before an instrument, and this works. There is a Native Instruments. Yeah. Here's the other link. So we can repeat this. I will have this reset after a random number, or not random, but odd number of plays. We don't have to have the probability that low. We can have them more towards the top. There's also these other options here for whether this triggers it has a chance of triggering every repeat or any other ratio. So 1 to 2 should be like every other repeat. And sometimes it's hard to A/B compare because it's different every time. That's what we're going to start with. We can do this with some other things here. So I'm going to add in just a kick drum. Let's just do that. So one of them every bar, I guess. Should have used a razor edit. I'm going to put in a clap on every... I don't want to clap on 1 and 3. Let's do that. See how that sounds. Yeah, I'll just do that other clap. So I'm going to do some of these with MIDI and some with audio. Oh, I didn't even realize I was going into separate lanes. I wanted to do separate tracks. Is that right? Okay, so now let's get a hi-hat sound. Okay, insert into sample player on a new track. And then in here, we're going to set this to, ignore MIDI note, and set the max volume. This plugin has probability as well, but we're going to use Chance Machine for it. So I'm just going to copy same pattern here, and let's do 8, and let's kind of like do these at random. And then in the MIDI, I will put in just like straight 16th. Okay, so here's our hi-hat without Chance Machine. And with it, a little more random. So I just want to focus on the hi-hat here, and let's play around with some of these things. So if I set this to a step length of 8, it's doing less. The smaller this is, the less often it's going to change the probability. So I set them all to 1 to 1. They're always going to repeat. So that's the original pattern. Set this to 1 to 2. So it should be silent on every other pattern. So if I set alternating ones to 1 every 2, 1 to 2. And I can set this last one to 2 out of 2. Or not 2 out of 2, but it flips. Is it on at the beginning of the A cycle or on in the B cycle? So 1 to 1 is every cycle. 2 out of 2 is on the second cycle out of 2. So yeah, it's tweaky stuff. All right, so now we're gonna mess around with the reverb. So Little Plate is currently free for any new user, and it's a wonderful reverb, plate reverb. And it does infinite reverb, which is really great. A 32-second long plate reverb, that would be pretty cool. How does it compare to Arturia's? It's sort of a different vibe. Arturia has 3 of them, 3 models that it emulates. This is much quicker to use, and it does more sound design-y kinds of things like the infinite reverb. I still tend to EQ any reverb, so it's always too much highs. The highs on that hi-hat, especially. Fun fact, it doesn't matter if you EQ before or after reverb. So without reverb, here's how it sounds. I think it's a pretty pleasing sounding reverb. Yeah, so that's Chance Machine on the bass and on the hi-hat. Everything else is going to be consistent. We can do other things like toms, special effects. So let's just have one of them as a sample. And I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'll put this. This is the thing I don't really know about this plugin is because I want this to like only play every 8. Is that right? Let's set all of these to 1-to-1, and on step 8, I want it to maybe trigger. No? Oh, right. Each step is 1. So I want this to be 16, maybe? No. I just put it on bar and then set the probability low. That's probably what. So, kind of works. You don't like the zap sample? I love it. Maybe because I made it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to see with Chance Machine, Analog Lab, the reverb, anything? We can compare it to some of the other reverbs if you want. I'll use the same EQ. They're quite a bit different. There's a lot less bass on the Arturia one. Like Little Plate without EQ can be pretty bassy. do like that sound. I forgot there's an advanced section. That's why there was less bass. It was just EQ'd. Anyway, yeah. This one was at one point free. This one is currently free. There's a lot fewer options, but I think it gets you a good sound very quickly. That's what I like to see. And I will also mention that there's a bigger one. There's Super Plate. And this is probably a little more comparable to the Arturia. So Super Plate is 5 different plates, with 3 different amplifier options. Again, it can do the infinite reverb time thing. And in the tweak menu, there's an EQ, there's the auto decay function, which instead of like compression to reduce decay time, it actually reduces the reverb time, which is pretty neat. So like for a ducking echo, no, reverb. I give up. So basically it just turns down the reverb time when sounds are loud, and then when they come down in level, it brings back your decay time up to the max, or up to the position on the knob. So it goes below by setting the target, and it goes above by what you set here. With it off, it sort of builds up this background fuzz. And with it on, it's a little more cleaned up. They're all good, okay? Let's just say all the plate reverbs are good. There isn't a bad plate reverb. Can you have one of the free SoundToys plugins installed and usable on more than one computer? I don't remember what the ilok rules are exactly. It depends on every plugin. The number of activations doesn't show here, so actually I don't know. Some of them will give you like 2 or more, but it depends on each plugin. Audiogridder will allow you to run your plugins on another computer. So Audiogridder, you need the plugin running in another computer, which I don't have at the moment. But it's like having a native plugin on this computer, but it would run off my PC, and it's actually like an OBS window preview. It's very strange. I think all my plugins got uninstalled because I had to reinstall Windows or repair Windows. But check this out. It's called Audiogridder. We tried it on stream like a year ago. It was it was real weird. It was like a screen capture, screen share for the other plugin window. So you would see it on screen on your other PC, and when you're moving the mouse, it's moving the mouse on that computer. And you can move the camera around, kind of, which was the weirdest thing. Using as intended, it worked pretty well, I thought. I never have a use for it, really, but it was neat that you can, and it does allow you to use like Windows-only plugins on Mac, vice versa. And otherwise, with the ilok, you just have to plug it in. What would you like to do with the rest of our time together today? I haven't really had any issues with ilok, and I've been using it for a really long time. I had one issue, and it had the dumbest solution, but the tech support was very good about it. So I had some plugin that just wouldn't authorize, and tech support tried everything. They sent me 2 new iloks to test. They like shipped it overnight for free, and what ended up working was putting my iMac into Windows, running the plugin there, and then I came back to Mac, and it worked forever after that. Yeah, it was a weird problem that had the dumbest solution, but... Oh, I know. There was the effects chain that I created. Yeah, guys, this is gonna get loud, so just warning. So I'm gonna bypass the container. This is the sound that's coming in. Let's do the chorus. And with the container on, it cleans up if I put the volume down to like 1%. So this sound is just like the self noise of the sequencer. I'm going to turn off all the oscillators and the noise. So it's just that clicking sound, but through this container, I'm warping its phase by using two sets of 8 all-pass filters in parallel, and then into a clipper because the volume changes. And then I just repeat that, like, I don't know, 8 times. I think it's fun. I just think it's neat. The effect by itself doesn't do a whole lot, right? The clipper is only cutting it down by 1 dB. These all-pass filters just shift the phase. They don't really like affect level. Like one by itself doesn't really do anything. But when you have a couple of them and they're in parallel, things start to get weird. And we'll add in another set of this. Again, barely noticeable difference. Getting a bit louder. At one point, it starts getting like liquidy. then, what is this? 4 times, and then it starts getting loud. I'll just do noise. Yeah, it's a weird thing that I set up. So that's with the let's do the same thing but with drums going into it. This makes those fun zappy sounds quite well. So that's the level that I'm coming in. Like barely audible. Right there is doing that sort of liquidy thing on the kick. And I'll start clipping it. It's really that last clipper that makes the big difference. I'm a Reaper user myself, but often hear from my acquaintances and friends that Reaper is inferior and isn't used in professional production. Interested to hear how you respond to such statements. It's kind of the same thing with, construction workers and electricians, and that like will argue over what hammer you buy or what brand of tools you use. Like obviously Ryobi can't be used on a job site. You have to have Milwaukee or DeWalt, and etc. So it's the same shit. So I wouldn't worry about it. Everyone's got a different brain, different things that we prioritize in our tools. For me, it's the flexibility of making my own workflow, or to be able to edit video, or to, all the stuff with the track comping, unlimited number of effects, being able to use VSTs, audio units, clap plugins, having effects on the items and the tracks, having input effects chains. There's just so many Reaper features combined with just, you don't have to do everything in one way. You can build your own workflow. For me, that works. But I know for a lot of people that doesn't make sense, and they don't want that, and they want to know the one way to do things that is always going to work, and they never learn another way, and they don't need to worry about that thing. They're not interested in customizing. Different tools for different tools. That's what I have to say about that. I mean, it's easy to prove that Reaper is used in professional environments. You just look at the games audio industry. Yeah, it's the same as Mac versus PC, iPhone versus Android. We have different priorities, different features that we value more than others. You might prefer battery life. You might prefer camera quality. You might prefer, I don't know, being able to script in your DAW. These are things that matter more or less to different people. And it's not a one-size-all-fits every person in the world sort of situation. Yeah, a lot of people complain about MIDI and Reaper. I don't really see it, but I don't know, maybe just because that's not the only thing I do with it. I don't dig in that deep. Yeah, I haven't really seen people be able to explain exactly why MIDI is worse. It's just that it's worse. Full stop. You guys see Reaper Tips had a post on the forum about possible effects container, effects chain redesign. I think it looks great. Instead of just a flat list, like, I mean, if I had a container for every one of these 3 plugins, it would get crazy. In Paranormal, this is what the effects chain looks like, but I could have these in separate containers. Yeah, so he's suggesting a node view to basically open up that Paranormal effects window. And if the effects are parallel, move them, like indent them. Because right now it's just this, just these little 2 dots for the indent, or 2 dashes. I don't know. It kind of works. I think it could be a little bit better. Just having the bypass button be indented might look better. And then having, for containers, being able to collapse. Because the problem with effects containers, once you use a few of them, it looks like this, where the window keeps getting smaller and smaller. And so much of your view gets taken up by these columns. So even if they don't change the colors and everything, it would look like this. I think that looks great. This was a suggestion from another user. I like Alex's option. I like this option. Both are good. Some DAWs were built around MIDI being the main feature at their outset, like Cubase. When I started out with it, MIDI focused, and you had audio syncing to tape with SMPTE. Yep, FL Studio was MIDI only as well at first. I still wouldn't want to like record bands in FL Studio, but I'm sure it got a lot better. So here's another weird effects chain that I set up with some filters, decapitator, and then some dispersers. This effects chain, what's the channel called? I think it's called Oversampled, something like that. There's like a young guy with glasses who might be like Dutch or something. But he makes a lot of videos about EDM techniques. And I saw this in one of his videos, and so I kind of recreated it with what I have. Essentially, it's a few dispersers. And dispersers are like all-pass filters. They fuck up the phase, but in kind of a nice way, I guess. And they're just kind of going up in frequency. You can kind of tune them to. They're gonna sort of like resonate. Kind of resonate a frequency, but not like a narrow bell curve peak on an EQ. And then distort it, which increases the tail of the sound. You can try different forms of distortion. And then you might want to filter out some of the lows, because disperser messes with the lows a lot. See, it does that sort of hum thing. I think it's this one. And then by automating this with a parameter modulation, it just adds some motion. Okay, and then we'll use Nova. I was kind of using this as like soothing. I think I use Smart Operations reference, and then set this to operation, dynamic deresonate. Something like that. I did something like that. And then smooth operator to further de-harsh. Take this too far and it's like OTT. And this is not the sort of sound you would expect to hear from like a Moog style synth. All right, so that's cool, but I'm curious now, what is it like without disperser there? Just doing the same sort of filter sweep thing? I think disperser really does. Even one of them.
I just think they're neat.
Anyways, that's what I've been playing around with this week when I haven't been spending the entire day editing a video. I've got one... No, I actually have 2 videos already ready to go. Right now, I've got too much content. I want to spread it out a bit so that I'm not like hitting your inbox every single day. Maybe I shouldn't like hold them and then risk it being like old news or something. It's weird for me not to like publish on the same day of making the video, actually. I want to get Todd Barriage on the channel. He's also a Reaper user. He makes some of the best mixes I have heard. I would recommend this emo chop suey. I would have called this something different. I would have called this chop suey, but it's actually good. This is just an excellent cover. I'll link to his channel. Honestly, like some of the best mixes I've heard and amazing covers in new styles. I don't know how he does it. I would love to just pick his brain about how he does that. And he makes an entertaining video at the same time. Really good stuff. I got to reach out to him and see if we can talk on stream, because he does production breakdowns on his Patreon. Check out his videos, see if you like his mixes, and think of some questions for that. I want to break down this song because it's so different from the original, and honestly, I think it's better. But it could be just because my band used to play that song and I just got burnt out on that song fucking 20 years ago. So let's go eat lunch. I got to feed my kids. I'm going to stop the stream now. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next week. I've got a few new videos coming up soon. See you later.